is what we need to understand. The mindset behind it is what we need to understand very, very, very well and not take it for granted. And we have just 30 minutes, and I'll do my best. Even if I may not have to finish it, maybe we can continue later on. But then, now what time is it? It is immersion o'clock. We all know that, right? Ambassador Biola, I'll just mention that and told us that too. All right, it is immersion o'clock. And everybody is thinking immersion, everybody wants to be there and all of that. But then I feel like sometimes while we are looking at that goal, it's like as a Christian, for instance, you are looking at, you want to go to heaven. You want to go to heaven. But then you are neglecting the simple thing you should do. The simplest of the things you should do as a Christian that can easily get you to heaven. And you are looking forward to the day you are going to do the big one. And the truth of the way life is designed, there cannot be a simple one. There cannot be a big one if there is no simple one. All right. Now let us go. I want you to remind me again. Maybe I've forgotten. So what are the requirements to qualify to be an immersion? These are the requirements, right? These are the requirements to be an immersion, right? Am I correct? Is there anyone missing there? Are these the requirements to be at immersion? You know, if your teammates are not here, trust me, you'll be doing them a lot of, you know, a lot of injustice if you're not here, especially for those your new teammates. Because right now, this one is for everybody. Now we're made to understand that cell meetings are meant for APs, active partners, right? But for this particular one, trust me, your EAPs are expected to be in this meeting because they need to also learn this too. All right, great. Thank you very, very much for the feedback. So you must have at least 3 accounts. You must have finished your SMO checklist. You must be registered. You must have registered at least 5 APs, and you must have at least 10 teammates attending cell meeting. Now the question is this: for those who are kinsmen, do you have up to 10 teammates attending cell meeting? Do you have up to 10 teammates attending cell meetings? I will tell you the reason. Well, after breaking it down, you will see the reason why your 10 teammates will not attend cell meetings. I will show you why. And it begins from how you become an AP. Now, what is the procedure of our organization, the C1FG International? What is the procedure? This is it. The procedure is the SMO checklist. The procedure is the SMO checklist. And until we begin, because look at how did we start this business? When we started this business, we're not cutting corners. We're not just wanting to do it anyhow and all of that. You know, how we started is the SMO checklist. As a matter of fact, we had our own SMO checklist that we always signed. And Ambassador Ronke was always available at that time, you know, in the office. Whenever anybody, so all your teammates, by the time they finish team 2, by the time they finish their QSG, you see people lining up. They don't hurry to go home. This one is not Zoom. QL on Monday, they join on weekend. QSG, they start. Once they start QSG by 4, by 5 for them. And then before it will finish around 7, people who are in Abuja here, for instance, so people are staying in Guagalada, they will not go home. At least I'm talking about my teammates. I have some of my teammates who are staying as far as Kurudu. They will not rush home. Some do not have cars. You know why? Because they must sign on their SMO checklist. And by the time they now get new sign-ups, guess what? They would ensure, because they have gone through that process, they would ensure that they will get their downlines to also do the same thing, to be patient as well. You don't do it on their behalf. Because while Ambassador is signing it, Ambassador is looking at your face. And that is how Ambassador, you know, that's how she's able to know that if she may not know your name, she may not know our names, but see our faces, she knows everybody's face through this. And it is going to help you as a person as well. Now, why does it seem difficult becoming a kinsman to many? Why does it seem difficult? Why does becoming a kinsman to many seem difficult? Why? Becoming an AP took them a very long time, and even if it was in a short while, it was more of luck to them, as they cannot give account of how they got their first sign up. Sorry about the typo, okay? Becoming an AP took them a very long time, and even if it was in a short while, it was more of luck to them, as they cannot give account of how they got their first sign up. When they become an AP eventually, they are unable to show their newly signed up what they did. That is why you notice in your team, you notice something, that once you sign up somebody and that new person signs up somebody, there is a high chance that those two persons, though they were friends before they joined this business, most of the times they don't even want to talk. They are together, they are not talking about the business. They are together, they are not doing, as in, the one who signed up, the new person, cannot say certain things about the business. Yes, we're not expected to explain the business, but both of you are already in the business. But guess what? If you had gone through the proper process of how it should be done and how you should sign up, trust me, there are some certain things. It will be easier, but when your leader is speaking to that person, he's speaking as a leader, and they are looking at him up, or her up. But you are palace. You are able to break it down effectively and better how it happened for you. And all of the above happened because they didn't follow the procedure laid down by the organization. What is the SMO checklist? The SMO checklist is a tool put in place to foster regimentation within the organization system so as to bring about the end goal, which is building a financial leverage system. I repeat, the SMO checklist is a tool put in place to foster regimentation within the organization's system so as to bring about the end goal, which is building a financial leverage system. You attain financial leverage. Attaining financial leverage system is also to have been able to achieve the vision. Do you get to have achieved the vision? But then attaining financial leverage system does not, what it simply means is that you have to build a system in which whether or not you are there, you cannot, whether or not you are there, you are still making money. And you can only attain that point at that level when there is regimentation of what happens. What is his name? Is it Unigwe, the man that I've forgotten his name, the Access Bank manager, when he died? When he died, he did not disrupt the work of Access Bank. He did not disrupt their structure. Because over time, they have, okay, Migwe, thank you very, very much. Because over time, they have built this, see, they have built a structure through regimentation in the organization. So in your business, the reason why you are struggling, why people are struggling in the business is because there is no regimentation. And there is no regimentation because you yourself, you have failed to be regimented. You have failed to allow yourself to be regimented. And the only tool that can regiment you is not by when your leader tells you, today, go and write 50 contact name list. Tomorrow, go and write 100 name list. Tomorrow, go and make this call. No, it is the SMO checklist. You pick up the SMO checklist and then you go through it. Okay, this is week 1. Oh, I have to do this. Then you go and do it. I hope I'm communicating with people. Now, detailed explanation of the SMO checklist. Course of time, we're not going to do all of them, but we're going to do it to a great extent. Sorry, that's going to be firstly. Firstly, everyone who nearly signs up, let me just correct this, please. So firstly, everyone who really signs up into the business must understand that in every sense of it. See, in every sense of it. And the best that you can do for yourself is to not even begin to analyze anything. In every sense of it, you are a newborn baby, just the way a newborn baby does. And I love our mastermind because of the initiative they now brought in explaining the different stages of the SMO checklist. And so, to make it more practical, the founders, masterminds, and GA leaders decided to create the SMO checklist using the reproduction stages of incubation, implantation, foundation, and maturity stages of childbirth. So it is not, see, it is not flesh and blood that revealed it to them. It is the Spirit of God that did it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it is, you just have to accept the fact that I have no knowledge. And what you need, the best thing you can do for yourself is to let go every form of business, anything business you know before. If you try to bring it into this place, it is only when you have grown to a certain stage, that is when you cannot begin to say, okay, this thing and this. In fact, you cannot begin to see most mistakes that people make in traditional businesses. And when you try to apply it here, it will not work. But that's everything you learn here. If you apply it in traditional business, you will see, you begin to soar high. All right? Now, the incubator class, which is the first one, what is it? What is incubator? Incubator is an insulated enclosure in which temperature, humidity, and other environmental conditions can be regulated at levels optimal for growth, hatching, or reproduction. To make it out of the incubator, you will be willing to purge yourself of every knowledge you've had about business. You must understand that our business is very different from the traditional kind of business, and then shut yourself out from external force or forces that can breed negativity and cause you to die off. Because when you are in incubator, see everything, even air, external air cannot even enter inside an incubator, because once, listen to me, an external air is considered a harsh substance that can even kill that particular embryo or fetus or whatever that is inside that particular incubator. I have to use this explanation so as to break it down very well, because, and I know that there are so many new persons, because if you follow what we are going to do, if you understand this and you decide to go back to SMO checklist, you will realize that in these 27 days we have for immersion, it is enough for you to become a kinsman. So what it means is that even if you who have been in business before, what you need to do is that if you try within the first time, see, do not think of coming out of the incubator when you have not gotten through the process, when you have not yet become an AP, but I'm going to show you what you do. Now, week one, the class is divided into 2 stages in week 1. The insulation or protection stage, and then the reproduction and hatching stage. The insulation or protection stage is where you are expected to attend your first mentorship, which is a combination of QSG, Quick Starters Guide, and IPO, Initial Plan Orientation, and then you fill the expedition management form. This is what the expedition management form is all about. You know, and it feels like most teams right now do not use it as they used to use before, but I think then when we used to do it before, it went a long way to help us at the time. You know, when you do that, for you to fill the expedition management form, they will ask you a question: have you attended your mentorship and IPO, QSG and IPO? You will say yes, you have attended. Then state 5 things you learned. You learned from the QSG you attended. Then you tell us, why do you want to do this business? Then how much would you like to make within the next 6 months of doing the business? You tell us how many hours you are ready to run the business. Then how long How long in terms of months would you run this business? Now you can see in that place, some people were telling me 1 month, 3 months, 4 months, 2 months. Anybody who gives me this kind of thing, if I try to correct them and then they insist on this, I don't take them too serious. It means that these people they tend to be dead on arrival, because if you have attended the QSG and you say you still want to run the business in 3 months, you want to look at it for 3 months, that means you're not ready to run the business. Do you get? And everything that follows. So this is what the expectation management form is like. So here it's going to be, the goal is that you are expected to get the knowledge. So the knowledge is meant to protect you. That is when we talked about the humility and everything that is necessary for your optimal growth. So those knowledge you get at that point in time. You see, they're not asking you to read. You are expected to read your first year network marketing and all of that, right? I didn't in the introduction and chapter 1. I didn't indicate it there. All of these are meant to just guide you, to protect you at that level. But then many of you, once you just start the business, as soon as you start, you go on YouTube to go and start looking for what did not find you there. You go and start looking for one big training. And once you begin to do that, let me tell you something. As soon as you begin to do it, the brain, first of all, let me tell you something. What happens to the brain? The brain, first of all, begins to look for an opportunity. It's looking for something that is easy for you to. The brain is looking for something that is easy for it. Anything that is going to combat the brain, as soon as you are seeing it is assimilating, then over time again, now you now sit down and begin to think about it. As you are thinking about it, the brain is now processing all the things you have seen. So many things you have seen. You have gone to research on YouTube. You have gone to one book to go and read. You have seen somebody that people wrote that. You are writing so many things, external forces, and at that point in time, guess what? It begins to feel weak. Paralysis comes in, sets in. That's the analysis paralysis we talk about. All right? Now, the reproduction and hatching stage is you must understand that you are not meant to be in that incubator forever. So which is to say that every protective measure taken is to keep you safe from the predators out there so that you can live until the time of reproduction and hatching. The steps to take towards hatching is to write 50 contact name lists and do your brand launch. But then it has become so much of a problem because you do not understand that initial process. Because you went through the QSG, and when you want to go to, you have gone to QSG and IPO, you read the bulletproof, and then it is now time to do to read your first year network marketing. You are not reading it. You are not protecting yourself very, very well. And because you're not protecting yourself very, very well, it becomes very difficult for you to go through the process of writing 50 contact name lists. Many of you will write 50 contact name lists. Now begin to call them, as soon as you want to pick the call, hey, you are scared, you are afraid. There's a training I would have actually loved to do, but for time. Your leader is always very available to help you out at this point. You have to follow every step without arguing with him. There are so many of you, at that point in time, like I told you, do not use your experience. Do not use your experiences before. Do not use your experience of your traditional business to do this. Because the more you argue with him, the more you make him feel as if he doesn't know what he's telling you. He doesn't necessarily know, so he doesn't necessarily want to know how what is going on with you at that point in time. What you just need to do is just to show you shut out those past experiences. I know I'm speaking this right now, and it looks as if I'm just trying to be abstract. But realistically speaking as well, you just have to you have to put yourself in that spot of shutting yourself out of those experiences you've had before, because that is when you can effectively do these things. Because if you check the number of persons who have joined the business since the launch of the Diamond Project from January till date, the various launches we have done. Last year, we did not have so many of these launches. It was just a continuation of La Buena Vida. And then this year, launch upon launch upon launch upon launch. International Women's Day is there. This one is there. And yet, Many persons who just signed up into the business have found it difficult to become APs simply because they have not followed these processes and they do not understand it. So my duty here is to make you understand it is very, very, very possible and realistic for you to be able to achieve that. Now with 2, the implantation class. And this is where I'm going to stop. Maybe later on I'll continue with the other one. Now, for the pregnant woman, in weeks 3 to week 4, the fertilized egg moves through the fallopian tubes towards your uterus and attaches to the lining of the uterus called implantation. Once it is implanted, it begins to grow and the placenta forms. So which means if those fertilized eggs does not move from that point, does not move to the uterus, guess what? There is no growth for it. Do you get? It means there is no growth for it. What it means, see, the uterus is where a fetus develops and grows, which is what's called the womb. So at this stage in the business, you are not expected to be isolated as you are no longer alone. At that point in time, you now have a new teammate. Mind you, as you have entered the implantation class, you should, because like I told you at the beginning, I said, if you do not leave, if you do not get, if you have not hatched, if you have not reproduced, don't leave there. Don't leave there. Do everything possible to ensure that you are in that stage, because the implantation stage is supposed to be a stage whereby you find it easy, whereby at least you're able to, you have a bigger picture. Oh, are you serious? So you mean all of these persons are there, because what happens is that you now have a new team. You should have somebody already. You already have a new teammate who should be nurtured just as you were nurtured. Guess what? We're talking about how you can build a financial leverage system. Because if you nurture them how you have been nurtured, they will nurture as they have been nurtured. The other ones will nurture as they were nurtured. They were nurtured. And guess what happens? You gradually begin to have a system that can run on its own, whether you are there in no distant time. Who told you that you have to start making 1 million naira every month before you think you already have a business? Do you know that you can be making 100,000 naira every month without even doing anything? I'm asking us, do you know that? Do you believe that? And the only way it is possible is when so you can imagine where you can begin to make as little as 50,000 naira on leverage. Then imagine what will not happen when you now begin to make 100,000 naira. So you can imagine that if you can begin to make that on little, gradually it will begin to grow, it will begin to grow, it will begin to grow, and before you know what's happening, you are increasing. You still have your leader or upline who you should keep listening to and doing what he asks you to do. So at this point in time, you are there, you are in the middle. Just below you, you have a new teammate who you should nurture. Meanwhile, you also have your leader who is up there, who you should keep listening to, because that implantation class is not where you're supposed to be. You are nurturing that one with the help of your leader so that you are able to come, he is able to come to the level where you are. Is able to come to the level where you are. Do you get? Why do they do omugo? Why do they do omugo? The grandmother or the mother of the woman who just gave birth is like the upline. While you that is there, you have to nurture your team. You have to nurture, and no matter how much you want to nurture your upline, which is your grandmother. Which your grandmother is also there to help you to nurture that child. That is what happens here. And you now have a larger body who you can also learn from to see that you are not alone on this journey. And that is where you are expected. So most of the things your leaders is not asking you to do is to make 100 name list and send recommendation. Now, if you properly follow the week 1, it will be easier to recommend people here so that they too can have the beautiful experience you've had. Because if you follow through the process of that incubation, you will so enjoy it that you will be grateful to God. In fact, you're no longer recommending people just for the money. But then the things you have learned, the persons you have become within that short period of you being in the incubator, you would want other people to benefit from it too, because you have learned something. But people do not learn something from incubator. They don't believe they have learned anything. They believe that they have learned something when they begin to make 100,000 or 500,000 or 1 billion naira. Do not despise the days of little beginning, my dear friends. Don't. So once you have done that, guess what? You weren't just only nurtured, you also grew in leadership realm by becoming an AP. So you are recommending people to come and experience the beautiful experience you had. And then engage. The second one says what? Engage in daily leadership cell meeting. Now, this is very necessary because since you have become a leader, it becomes a must that you attend cell meetings. We have a lot of mothers here. Please, during your mobile, are there no interactions with you and your mother about what you should do? Are you not supposed to be there to watch how your mother is bathing that child? Are you not supposed to be there? Please, I need responses, okay, mothers in this place. Please. When your mother is bathing that child, are you not supposed to be there? You see the way they are pressing the baby's head, the way they are pressing the back and stretching them and all of that. You see the way they are doing it, right? Why are you there? The reason you are there is because that is another level of mentorship. That is a mentorship. That is what we call leadership, because you are also going to be like her one day. And then you will be teaching your children the same thing. Engage in daily leadership cell meetings. So you see that it is not like you don't have to become an emerging cell leader. You don't have to become a cell leader because there's a leader attached to that name. That is when you think you are now qualified to attend cell meeting. No, by the virtue of you becoming an AP, you graduating into the implantation stage or class automatically gives you the rights and the tickets to attend the daily leadership cell meeting. You watch the live Live Your Dreams by Randy Gage. When you watch that video, the first thing it asks in that video is, what do you do when you lose your dream? That is the first thing he asks, and Randy Gage asks in that question, in that video. What do you do when you lose your dream? And then when he asked that question, he now also gave you reasons why that if you leave your dream, what happens? You do what? You dream again. Now, the video is so important to both you and those who you are here to prospect. To you, because everybody I'm talking to you in this meeting, listening to me right now. There have been, in fact, it is not what you have thought, what you thought you were going to be as a child that you are right now. You have at some point thought that you are going to be an astronaut. You have thought you are going to be a medical doctor, or what, something very big. You are going to be an engineer and all of that. And for some reason, you weren't able to achieve it. And they felt like your dream came crashing before you. But guess what? You are in this business because you had to dream again. And unfortunately, many of you did not even know that you had to dream again. In your normal language, all you just told yourself was, what can I do now? Let us just go ahead now. What can I do? Let us just keep going. Let us try this one. Let us try it again now. But without even understanding that what you actually did was to dream again. You dared to dream again. That was what you actually did. And guess what? Because of that, when you watch this video, you will now begin to everything you have passed through in life begin to come to reality to you. And then you know the stories of people who have also passed through what you have passed through. It will be easier to now put down their names in the 100 contact name list. And when you are now putting it down, because you have now watched the 5 steps of unlimited prospecting by Eric Worre, you will not prejudge everyone. You are not just going to do it carelessly. You become intentional at that point in time. And then you now get a book. And once you get the book like this, you now begin to put it down. Active candidate list. You have your own active candidate list. You no longer prejudge anybody. You will tell yourself, oh, if not for the grace of God, that would have been me. So what this person is passing through right now, I was once there. That because of this business, I know better. This person can now come and know better. You see that you are not looking at it from the perspective of you wanting to make money. You are not looking at it from the perspective of you giving value. And once you do it this way, trust me, you are doing well. And lastly, you read GoPro, Introduction to Chapter 4. By the time you have read it, also, you will now realize, oh, that you cannot tell yourself whether you are a poser or you are an amateur, a poser, or a professional. At that point in time, before you read that book, the expectation will be different. But after you have read from introduction to chapter 1, you now realize that almost, so you mean, oh, the one was even thinking like this, I was actually an amateur. Okay, I was even a poser. Okay, now I want to be a professional. And then the mindset and everything will change. The immersion is here on the 2nd of April. That is when the early bird ticket would increase to 50,000 naira. That's when the early bird ticket is ended. And from the 3rd, it ends at 50,000 naira. Pay for your tickets. And then decide to go back as a new person and as an old person. There was a meeting I had a few weeks ago, and then we have some person who have been in business for 6 months, 2 months, and all of that. If you are struggling to also be at this level, if you have, by the time you check it, okay, I am 6 months in the business, and to be a kingsman, I am just done 2/3, 2/5. I mean, 2/5. So which means that if I have done 2/5 as an AP, in this week 2, you are supposed to have at least done registered up to 5 persons in your week 2. That is the truth. Because by the time you are graduating from your week 4, you are graduating from using this SMO checklist, you are supposed to have become a kingsman. So I want to encourage each and every one of you to go back to your SMC. It is your SMO checklist. And guess what? Once you're able to do it, it will be easier. Many of you say, I am me that is talking to you right now. You know, that's why I said I thank God every point in time for this opportunity given to us. Because once it's given to us, we are starting to tell you the truth. And since we're starting to tell you the truth, we also find our faults. Because we as personally, I have also found my fault. I realized that, oh my God, to a great extent, I mean, why is it that it's been so difficult for me to be able to raise so and so number? During the last dispensation, for you to become a kingsman was so easy. And we are raising kingsmen like something. But how is it that, and that kingsman then, it's not like it was too much, just become a kingsman and now you register 4 persons. Finish 3 accounts and you register 4 persons. But then when God now inspired our president more, and he might understand that, I mean, that structure was not going to help anybody to become a millionaire, which was to achieve the vision, then we have to change the dispensation, and then this dispensation now changed. That's okay, good. You have those 3 accounts, fantastic, but then there must be 5 persons registered, and those 5 persons must have at least 1 person to become an AP. It's not supposed to be more, it's not supposed to be much. Because people before now that it has become a requirement, it seems like it is now hard. It is only hard because many persons are now looking at that kingsman, and many persons who have become kingsman before now have held on to that point, because sometimes so many of them are now justifying, when I was in this business before, it took me about 3 months, 2 months to become a kingsman that time. I don't know what really happened. Don't worry now. See, we have done this business before. Living on past glory and holding on to things that the success of the past success. That is the reason why many of you are not holding on, you are not pushing on right now. All you need to do right now is to go back to your SMO checklist. You see this week 1 and week 2. If you follow it diligently, to follow the other one, the week 3, which is the foundation class, and then week 4, which is the implementation class, trust me, it is enough for you. You will find it difficult to not just become a kingsman, but you will raise other kingsmen. Follow the SMO checklist. Don't see it is not a bad thing. See, it is not going to be a sad news that will be about 190 in this meeting. that 190 persons in this particular meeting became a kinsman. Is it possible? Yes. It is possible if we decide to go back. If we decide to go back to follow the SMO checklist diligently, and leaders as well, I am encouraging us. Maybe what you should do right now is reach out to those your new teammates, those persons who you know they've been struggling. Let us find a way to talk to them to be able to follow this SMO checklist. Because if they follow the SMO checklist, it will be easier for us. Because when they are coming, when they have passed through it, and then by the time you make them see that, you celebrate them and make them see that, yes, we have passed through week 1, and you have done amazingly well. Now, I want you to also go back again. See, while you are, just like I made an analogy about how a mother and a grandmother have to nurture the newborn. By the time we are able to see them down and then take them through that process, this work that the Lord has put on our head and on our shoulder, it will be so easy. Immersion, we must be there. You must be at the immersion. We all must be at the immersion. The Wealth Creation Nation Division 1. Every one of us, we are more than this. We are supposed to be at least close to 300. And trust me, talking about having 10 persons to attend cell meetings, by the time you have all of these processes, you follow all of these processes, you'll find out that it will be easy for you to have 10 persons effortlessly attending cell meeting without you having to remind them, because they understand. Why are you attending cell meeting even when you're not making money? It's not because you understand. Thank you very, very, very much, everyone. All right. Do what you have to do today. For those who haven't paid for their tickets, ensure you have your pay your tickets. Ensure you encourage your teammate. Do what you have to do. Do everything you have to do within your powers to ensure that you become a kinsman. All right. Have a great day, everyone. I love you all. My name is Damian Osafile. Bye.